Okay, so your first exercise is your sacral support. This air-filled ball is going to be underneath your sacrum, so below your low back. You're lying on the ground. You're just going to bridge up and get it positioned so that it's centered left to right. And then when you're in the proper position, if anything, it's going to feel like your pelvis wants to kind of tuck under. If it's too high, if the ball is too high and it's more supporting your low back, then it's going to feel like your pelvis wants to kind of drop forward and arch your low back. So if anything, airing kind of on the side of closer to your tailbone, and then you're really just hanging out. You're just taking some slow, deep breaths. You're thinking about kind of inflating your abdomen and letting your low back just drop down towards the ground. I usually recommend like 3 to 5 minutes here. And when you come off of the ball, you should feel like your low back is sitting more flat. If it's not, or if you can't feel the difference, maybe a couple extra minutes, or you can start to engage your abs a little bit while you're in that position just to kind of get some movement there. So sacral support, then you're going to go into your side lying lumbar gapping. So if you have a countertop or a firm bed, something that you can lie on your side, for you, you're going to be just on your right side. So you're going to bring your knees up to kind of that 90-degree angle that we talked about, and then kick your feet forward, drop your feet down. The goal of this is to increase the distance from your pelvis to your rib cage. So you should feel like something opens up here. You can have someone come over and they can push your feet down. If you want, you can cross your ankles and you can kind of create a little bit of resistance against your feet in order to get that opening, kind of really just hanging out here. So also taking some deep breaths. So this is nice to do after a bike ride, especially if you have any nerve symptoms. So you want to be pretty square. Notice I'm not rotating back at all. Just shoulder square, hip square, and then you can play around with the position of your legs. So a little bit lower down, you'll feel a little bit closer to your pelvis, and then a little bit higher up, you'll maybe feel a little bit closer to your rib cage. This also should be somewhere in the range of the 3 to 5 minute time frame. Then you're going to go into your cat. So on your hands and knees, can be on the ground or something softer, doesn't matter. Your goal with your cat is to really get some lumbar flexion. So we want this area to move, not so much this area. So you lead the movement with your abdomen, you draw your belly button up towards your spine, and then you finish the movement with your glutes. So you're picturing this muscle here is pulling your sit bones down towards the ground at the same time that your belly button and your low abs pulling up is rounding your low back there. If you need to, you can do an exhale and exaggerate that motion a little bit more. That's really nice to engage that transverse abdominis. You're just going to hang out in your cat for at least 20 seconds. Give yourself a chance to really feel that transverse abdominis doing the movement, and then you can repeat maybe 5 or 10 of them. Next, you're going to go to your ball. So goal of the ball is to turn your glutes on. You're going to round over your ball so that you feel like your low back is supported. And on your right leg, you're going to simply lift and hold. Your goal here is to feel like your upper glute is firing without any hinging from your low back. So once you lift the leg, you just want it as high as you can get it before you feel like your low back is wanting to do that and kick in. In order to prevent that low back kinking, you can also do a little bit of a belly lift. So as if you don't want your belly button to touch the ball, that will help prevent that arching into your low back. So you're just holding on the right side, and then when you have your left leg, you can also add your right arm. So just kind of get nice and balanced on that ball, get the left leg and the left glute to fire, and then reach up with the right arm, and you should hopefully feel like your low back muscles are firing a little bit more because of that addition. Last one is a wall burner. So this one we did against your Pilates reformer. And you can do this on both sides, but if you are going to do both, you're going to want to do more on the left. So it's that extra scoot of your lower hip up against the reformer so that your pelvis is perpendicular to the ground versus not being fully close to the reformer and then having an angle at your hips here. So once you kind of get nestled in, you're just gonna lift your leg only as high as you can without scrunching here. So the distance between your rib and your pelvis should stay nice and long. As you lift the leg, you're gonna turn your toes up towards the ceiling as much as you can, trying to externally rotate from this bone here so your kneecap will also face up. And then you're gonna apply a gentle pressure back. So right now I'm pushing my heel into the wall and that engages a muscle here. I don't want you to feel this muscle here or anything in your back. It should just feel like it's just behind that hip bone, kind of on the side there. And then this is just a hold. If you can hold this for 1 full minute, then you can add a pulse and it's just sliding your foot up and down another inch. Again, making sure that nothing here is moving. It is not this motion, right? So it's just staying long and then pressure back and then a little bit of a slide. That's all there is for day 1.